Oh, I brought receipts, and by receipts I mean screenshots. So a fantasy artist that I have been working with for about a year took all of my money for my most recent cover and then ghosted me. So let's do some backstory here. In July of 2023, I got screwed over by my previous artist, so I was looking for a new artist. And I came across a fantasy portrait artist named Vennec Illustrations, and I commissioned them to do some character portraits and ended up commissioning them to redo all of my covers as well. So from July of 2023 to March of 2024, Vennec Illustrations worked with me on approximately 15 different commissioned art pieces. And that's honestly why this entire situation we're about to get into really confuses me, because during that time I was a steady client, I always paid on time, I never haggled prices, and overall, Vennec Illustrations was very active in my reading community. I also want to preface this by saying that before deciding to make this video, I tried like hell to try and get a valid explanation for this entire situation that is about to be told. Because at the end of the day, Vennec Illustrations is a very talented artist who does amazing work, and I did not want to lose them. I did not want to lose this artist. I loved everything they did. They brought my characters to life in amazing ways, and no part of me wants to make this video or have had this situation happen in general. So in late March, Vennec finished up one portrait and I asked her, hey, do you want to go and do another portrait or just start the cover? Me and my marketing coordinator and her all agreed that having her get a jump start on the cover for the book that was supposed to come out later this year, which probably now won't, was going to be the best choice to do. So at the end of March, beginning of April, Vennec went ahead and she started on this next cover. April 1st, I got the first update on the work in progress, which you can see here. I said, I'm so excited, and that I was planning to send her money later that week and that I would have the invoice paid in full by the end of April. During this same time, I found out that I was gonna have to get surgery and I was gonna be down for the count for at least 3 to 6 weeks. Now, Vennec was aware of my health issues that were going on. I might not have had a one-on-one message with her, but she was very active in my book community, so she had even been parts of the conversations where I was talking to my readers about the situation. I got my surgery on April 17th, and on April 18th, I said, I think I'll have the cover paid off by the end of the weekend. She said, no problem, I plan to dive on and get it finished. She said that she had been sick the past week and hadn't really been managing to get much art out. I said, all good, just want to get it out of the way so I don't have to worry about it, because again, I had just gotten surgery and I was going to be going through recovery. And this conversation on the 18th is essentially the last actual conversation that I have had with Vennec Illustrations about this project. I know how stupid it is that I sent this artist full payment for a commission before it was done. I am aware of that, but I also want you to be aware that I had been working with this artist for about a year and had commissioned 15 previous pieces with little to no problems. I was very confident and felt very safe in the situation of sending them a full payment just so I did not have to worry about it while I was in recovery for surgery. Anyway, April 19th, I let Vennec know that I paid off the invoice in full. Since this was 2-day post-surgery, I went ahead and I just didn't worry about it. Everything that was book related went on hold because I was recovering. The first or second week of May is when I finally started getting back into the swing of things, and I started meeting with my marketing media coordinator again. And that was when she was like, hey, you paid Vennec, have you heard anything? And I went, shit, no, I haven't. So May 9th, I messaged Vennec saying, hey, just checking in. 9 days later, on May 18th, I say, hey, is everything okay? I haven't heard from you in a while, because now it's been a month since I paid off the invoice in full. And this already was very out of character for Vennec Illustration, so I felt like something was maybe going on and they just hadn't told me yet. But shockingly, the next day on May 19th, they said, hey, sorry, yes, I'll get you a work in progress over to you later here, which I'm assuming means later today. Well, a week goes by and still no update, so I messaged Vennec again on May 27th saying, hey there again, any update? Now we're getting into June and I'm getting nervous because the original start date for this project was going to be June 1st. So June 3rd, I went ahead and I messaged again saying, hey, can I get some kind of update, either project or life-wise? Sure, you got a lot going on, because at this point, I'm like, maybe they're having health problems too. Maybe someone in their family passed away. Maybe they're depressed. I don't know. But again, nothing, no response. So 3 days later on June 6th, I try again with, hey, just checking in. I just understand you probably have a lot going on, but like, please communicate that with me. June 10th, hey Vennec, I'm reaching out again for an update. The artwork was paid in full 7 weeks ago and I've had no updates in 10 weeks. Basically, this was me fishing for like a timeline, because at this point we did not have a timeline established other than, hey, you're starting the covers early. We didn't have a due date set for this, so I'm now fishing to try and get a due date or a timeline or anything from Vennec Illustrations. It was also at this time where me and my marketing media coordinator decided I needed to be messaging Vennec every single day to try and squeaky wheel this shit, just to be like, hey, I'm gonna annoy you until you reply. But that didn't work, because you can see here I messaged on the 11th and then the 12th. Now, coming around to June 12th, which we are now about 2 months since I paid for this artwork in full, I started getting a little bit more serious and was like, hey, if I do not get a clear status update or timeline from you, I'm going to be opening a dispute against the invoice. I basically said you have until Friday, and if I don't hear from you, I'm going to be opening it up. Not only did I message them on this platform, though, I also sent an email to their personal email and their commission's email letting them know, hey, if I do not hear from you, I'm going to be opening a dispute. Obviously, Friday rolls around and I still hear nothing. You probably noticed that I have a message from June 16th down here from Vennec. Let's see what led up to that message. Well, one of my best friends in the entire world is also an artist who does commissions. And as I normally do when I am having a moment of, am I just being a dick? I went to my friend and I said, hey, this is the situation that is happening. What do I do? Because at this point, I don't even know if Vennec Illustrations is alive. Like, I don't even know. So my friend was like, this is what we're gonna do. I am gonna reach out to her as a potential new client. We're gonna see if she responds. And if she responds, you know she's alive. But also if she responds, you know she might be ignoring you. So June 15th, the day after I've opened up the dispute on the invoice, just to make sure Vennec is alive, my friend messages, Vennec responds within 2 hours. Logan does a little bit more digging and talks about, are you taking on new commissions? They said they had a few pieces they need to finish in the next day or two. And then at this point, Logan was angry for me. So Logan said, actually, I'm friends with Jess and she commissioned you to do a book cover and she's been trying to get a hold of you. Vennec responds with this, you can pause to read, basically saying that she was planning to get it done in the next few days and hadn't been receiving messages from me. Also, I wasn't just trying to contact them on one platform. I had also emailed 2 separate emails, their personal and their commissions one for their art business. So at this point, I'm like, is Vennec Illustration just purposely ignoring me? Like, did I do something to upset them? Did I say something to tick them off? I'm telling you, I went through all of my messages just trying to find a context clue or anything. But that leads us to this message that I received on June 16th that said, hey Jess, I'm sorry. I seem to have turned off my notifications. What? Even if she did somehow turn off her notifications, you're telling me that she didn't get any of the emails I sent, she didn't get a notification of the dispute being opened. She also said I had planned to shoot you a message today in regards to the character feedback before I rendered them. Again, you sent me a message today because my friend Logan called out your bullshit, Vennec Illustrations. Now, I'm one of those people that very much values honesty and transparency when it comes to working relationships, which is what I had with Vennec Illustrations. So I said, hey, I'm honestly super disappointed with the lack of communications and updates on this piece. You can pause to read the whole message. I don't really care. It's basically a recap of what I just told you. And then about 15 minutes later, not even waiting to see if she'd respond to that, I sent my notes. She said, super. We'll get back to it. Vennec Illustrations told my friend Logan that she was going to have my cover done in the next few days. Well, June 16th, super, we'll get back to it. That's when I got the notes to her. June 24th, checking for an update. That is 8 days later that I followed up and said, hey, what's going on? Didn't hear anything, so 2 days later said, hey, trying for an update again. And I get one, it says, I have 0 done. We'll get screenshots in the morning to you. Hope to get Lily finished tomorrow. So I just said, okay. At this point, I was already very much aware that I was no longer going to be working with Vennec Illustrations after this commission because I was just so fed up with the lack of communication. I could not believe that she would respond to a potential new client, but not to her actual client who had already paid for the piece. I don't think I have said this yet, but Vennec Illustrations is actually out of Ireland. So even though this message is saying it is 3:39 a.m. for me, it's actually the afternoon for Vennec. So at this point, I was like, well, they didn't get me the screenshot in the morning that they said they were going to send me. So I said, hey, you said you'd send me a screenshot this morning of progress. Please send that my way. Thank you. So my initial message was at 10:39 a.m. So a couple hours later, I sent this message, which if you want to read the whole thing, you can pause to read. I basically say that I would like to just move on at this point. I just wanted to wash my hands of the situation, leave it behind, move on, find a new artist, avoid all of these videos, essentially. And again, Vennec Illustrations chooses silence. Come July 1st at 4:12 p.m., so I gave her essentially the entire day because, again, she's out of Ireland, so she is 5 hours ahead of me. I said, hey, I'm going to escalate this to a claim at this point. I just want a refund. I literally just want a refund. So when you do escalate from a dispute to a claim, it does give the seller an additional 10 days to produce a finished product or deliver it or whatever. So that's where we were at. But again, Vennec just can't take accountability, can't apologize, can't give an explanation, chooses to just ghost me. And so yesterday, the claim timed out. Vennec did not respond to the claim, never tried to argue it. It timed out and went in my favor. And then Vennec posts this, a portrait process of my own character. Now, I'm also a creative. I understand wanting to take time to do some personal projects. It really helps you clear your mind. I completely get that. But to post a portrait of your own original character when you still have outstanding commissions and have ghosted a client, at this point, it just feels personal. And here is where I hit my final straw in my choice to make this 4-part video series. I left a review of Vennec Illustrations on her profile. You can see, pause to read if you would like. A lot tamer and less in depth than this video was. And this morning, I woke up to see this. Vennec had turned off the reviews. So now the review that I left trying to warn people of the situation that I endured after being a loyal and steady client for a year with Vennec Illustrations was no longer viewable. At the end of the day, for anybody who's doing freelance work or is being contracted, communication with your client is important. If you have something going on, let them know. You don't even have to tell them exactly. Just say, hey, I have some personal life things going on. Hey, I'm overwhelmed. Hey, I overfilled my plate. Can we push this off? Perfectly fine reasons. Ghosting, not okay. Because from the outside looking in, people are calling Vennec Illustrations a scammer, which at this point might be true. But if you aren't going to allow your clients to warn potentially new clients about situations like this by turning off your reviews after you got one you didn't like on your page, you're gonna get reviews like this.